can vary.
1310 WICH with Fishing Today. Whether it's in the ocean, on the pond, in the stream, or off the dock, it's all about fishing. Let's join Jesse Roach with Fishing Today on 1310 WICH.
Good morning, everyone, with another edition of Fishing Today on WICH, a podcast to follow. You can go to our webpage at WICH.com, and there is a link there for the podcast. It's also at Mixcloud, and then we throw it on YouTube right after that. Today we get into the C.A.R.E program through DEEP, a great program that not only helps kids, veterans, and the like, but also supports our local DEEP. And we're going to get into that. Some sights and sounds from an outing we did last Sunday with the Cub Scouts over at Gorton Pond. And we'll tell you all about that. But first...
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, it really is. These kids are hilarious. I mean, the things they come up with and while they're having a great time and learning about the fishing. And it's pretty cool. Rick Joseph on the other side of the glass. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Another fishing show. Let's do it.
All right. And we will dive right into the news and weather.
Okay, let's get started with the Barn Island WMA Management Assessment Report. The DEEP is seeking public input on this report. The DEEP Wildlife Division is seeking public input on a management assessment report prepared by Connecticut College for DEEP's Barn Island Wildlife Management Area in Stonington. At just over 1,000 acres, Barn Island is Connecticut's largest, most diverse, and ecologically significant coastal wildlife management area. In 2013, DEP received a Long Island Sound Futures Fund grant to begin development of a comprehensive management plan. And as a first step, Connecticut College has contracted all of the historic, scientific, management, and public use information available, and is presenting the DEP Wildlife Division with management recommendations and options to consider in addressing a variety of resource management issues and needs identified for the property. The report, which is entitled Management Assessment Report, Barn Island Wildlife Management Area, Stonington, Connecticut, can be found on the DEP website at www.ct.gov/DEP/Barn Island WMA. The Wildlife Division is seeking comments on the Management Assessment Report as well as any additional information related to Barn Island WMA from the general public, from conservation organizations and various user groups, including researchers and educators familiar with the property. All input received will be considered by the Wildlife Division in developing the management plan. The plan will allow DEP to more proactively protect any past and present investments dedicated to protecting and managing the species, habitats, and cultural resources, and providing compatible outdoor recreation and education opportunities. Public comments will be accepted until June 30th of 2016. You can submit comments to DEEP Wildlife Division biologist Ann Kilpatrick at deep.wildlifehabitat@ct.gov, or you can call at 860-424-4144, or you can reach them at the DEP Eastern District Headquarters at 209 Hebron Road in Marlborough, Connecticut, 06447. The fax number is 860-295-8175. Send it attention Ann Kilpatrick and the subject, Barn Island WMA. A draft of the management plan will be available for public review and comment in late fall of this year.
All right, and as we get into May, it's already May. Can you believe it?
Right, tomorrow, yep.
And with May comes a few things. If you've gotten your short tags for your stripers. That's 22 to 28 inches. They are offering 2 per angler this year. So the 3,000 roughly that they put out might only go to about 1,500 anglers. So make sure you get to a DEEP place of business and pick up yours if you haven't gotten them yet, as they may go fast. Other things starting May 1st, the commercial fishery possession limits are out for all you endorsement holders. That's effective Sunday, May 1st at midnight. The following possession limits will be in effect for Connecticut commercial fisheries. Possession limits will be periodically adjusted if needed to achieve 100% of the annual summer period quota to be landed by the end of the quota period. The objective of the periodic adjustment, that is to maintain a constant rate of landings for the remainder of the quota period without exceeding the quota. Now for scup and porgy, for holders of a scup license endorsement, that's 1,500 pounds for all gears except for lobster pots, which is 10 fish. For restricted commercial fishing license holders, it's 60 fish. Black sea bass, 10 fish. Black sea bass license endorsement is required. Summer flounder is 100 pounds. Summer flounder license endorsement also required. And tautogs, the blackfish, is closed. Reminders to all the possession limits apply to the aggregate of all persons on board the vessel per trip, per day, whichever is longer period of time. Transfer of these species between vessels at sea is prohibited. When any person on a vessel is commercial fishing, the commercial possession limit applies to the entire vessel, and no person on that vessel may also possess fish under the recreational creel limit. American lobster. A reminder that the closed season for lobster is September 8th through November 28th. This closure applies to all gears, recreational and commercial, in Lobster Management Area 6 of Long Island Sound. Atlantic Menhaden. No person engaged in commercial fishing shall possess or land Atlantic Menhaden in excess of 6,000 pounds. Bluefish. The possession limit of commercial harvest of bluefish remains at 1,000 pounds. Horseshoe crab. Horseshoe crab season is closed. It does open May 22nd. Spiny dogfish possession limit remains at 5,000 pounds. Weakfish possession limit remains at 100 pounds. Winter flounder, the possession limit is 50 pounds or 38 fish unless the fish are taken in federal waters under a federal groundfish permit. New, the Jonah crab. ASMFC approved a Jonah crab fishery management plan effective January of 2015, consequently effective January 15th of 2016. In the commercial fishery, no Jonah crab less than 4.75 inches carapace width may be possessed or sold. Possession of egg-bearing Jonah crabs or crabs from which eggs have been removed is prohibited. Jonah crab must be landed whole. From landing claw only is prohibited. Possession of more than 2 loose claws per body is prohibited. The possession limit of non-trap fisheries is 200 crabs per day or 500 crabs per trip. There is no possession limit. Possession limit in lobster pot fisheries. Connecticut licensing statutes do not allow crabs to be taken by pots other than lobster pots. Please note, non-trap limit is under reconsideration by the Lobster Board, which oversees the Jonah crab management, and may be eliminated as management provision in 2016. For current commercial fishery trip limits and quota status, call 860-434-6374, 24/7. That's a recorded message of current possession limits, or you can also see it at www.ct.gov/DEEP/TL. So there you go for all you endorsement holders out there. That's what's happening out on the water. Let's get into some marine forecasts there, see what's happening that way in the water.
All right, marine forecast for today. East winds around 5 knots, becoming southeasterly this afternoon, seas 1 foot or less. Then tonight, southeast winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 1 foot or less. Tomorrow, southeast winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming easterly 10 to 15 knots, with gusts up to 20 knots in the afternoon tomorrow. Seas at 1 foot or less, then it'll be 2 to 3 feet in the afternoon tomorrow with rain. And Sunday night, east winds 15 to 20 knots, gusts up to 25 knots, becoming northeasterly 10 to 15 knots after midnight, and seas 2 to 4 feet for Sunday night with rain.
And the barometric pressure holding steady at 30.23 inches pretty much throughout all the state. Today seems to be the choice day to get out there and fish, especially for the kayak anglers and looking like some weather might get different during the beginning of the week. Looks like some rain in the forecast, so get out there and fish. Speaking of getting out there and fishing, there are some tournaments that are happening. Lots of tournaments, actually, as we get into the week and beyond. And start with, well, it's kind of late for today's, but 5-1 kicking off May at Amos Lake, Thames Bassmasters. That's at the state launch. You can check that out tomorrow. Bashan Lake, Bass Attack. That's at the state launch. That's tomorrow. Candlewood Lake, a couple going on tomorrow. Well, actually, there's a whole bunch going on at Candlewood Lake. And that's the 5 Alive Bassmasters 3 at Latins Cove. You also have the Orange Lake Fish and Game Association at Latins Cove. Candlewood Lake, another North Jersey Bass Anglers at Latins Cove. Northeast Bass Anglers, that's at Squanch Cove, also tomorrow. Naugatuck Valley Bassmasters at Squanch Cove. We've got Taconic Bassmasters, that's at Squanch Cove. And then Connecticut River Windsor Rod and Gun Club. That's happening at Palisado Avenue. More tomorrow, East Twin Lake Watershed Bassmasters. That's at O'Hare's Landing Marina. Gardner Lake, Litchfield County Worm and Jig. That is at the state launch tomorrow. Highland Lake, Empty Lake Bass Club. That's at the state launch. Lake Lilanona, that is. North Jersey Hog Hunters. That's at Steelbridge. Lake Lilanona also tomorrow. Connecticut Bassmen, Steelbridge. Lake of Isles tomorrow at Team Thayers. That's at the state launch. Mansfield Hollow Reservoir tomorrow. Ripon Lips at the state launch. Moodus Reservoir, Bio Bass Anglers. That's at the state launch. Upper Moodus. Pataganset Lake, Seawolf Bassmasters at the state launch. Rogers Lake, Southeast Bass. That's happening at the state launch. That is also tomorrow. Sage Pond, Rocky Hill Lions Club, Sage Park parking lot. Squanch Pond, that is Long Island Bassmasters. That's at the state launch. And moving on to the second, it's Candlewood Lake, the NEPA Bass at Squanch Cove. That's happening. On the fourth, Mansfield Hollow Reservoir, WET, at the state launch. Also on the fourth, Pataganset Lake, Bassin' for Fun at the state launch. On the fifth, Candlewood Lake, TBF of CT, Squanch Cove. Also on the 5th, Patchogue Pond, Size Matters Bass Club State Launch. The 7th, Bantam Lake, Bass Club at West Point. That's at the state launch. Also on the 7th, Bashan Lake, Bio Bass Anglers State Launch. The 7th, Candlewood Lake, Connecticut Yankee Bassmasters at Latins Cove. Also on the 7th, Candlewood Lake, Black Rock Bassmasters. That's at Latins Cove. Candlewood Lake again, Connecticut Bass Nation High School. That's Junior Latins Cove. Candlewood Lake, Westchester Rod and Reel Bassmasters, Squanch Cove. Candlewood Lake again, Hudson Valley Bassmasters at Squanch Cove. You have Orange County Bassmasters, Squanch Cove. I'm wondering if these are combined. The Connecticut River on the 7th, Northeast Bassin. That's at Haddam Meadows. East Twin Lake on the 7th, Heart of Connecticut, O'Hare's Landing and Marina. Gardner Lake, Bass Buddies on the 7th at the state launch. Lake Lilanona on the 7th, NBAA Northeast Military Division. That's at Steel Bridge. Lake Zor on the 7th. That's Case, state launch. Mansfield Hollow Reservoir on the 7th, Bolton Lions Club. That's at the state launch. Patchogue Pond, No BS Bass Club, state launch. The 7th, Quinnebog Lake, Squadron 91 American Legion, state launch. Moving ahead to the 8th, Candlewood Lake at Hafner. It's Latins Cove. Also on the 8th, back at Candlewood Lake, SWCT Bassmasters, Squanch Cove. Gardner Lake on the 8th, it's Bite, state launch. The 11th, Amos Lake, Bassin' for Fun, state launch. Also the 11th, Candlewood Lake has 3 of them through BAWS, Raritan Valley Bassmasters, and Mid-Con Anglers, Squanch Cove, Latins Cove. So those are some of the tournaments happening. If you're getting into the tournaments, you can also go to the DEEP's website to find all of your registered tourneys throughout the state, throughout the season. We're going to go to a break, but when we come back, we're going to be diving into the C.A.R.E program, and we're going to have some sights and sounds from the event, and that is just in a couple minutes on Fishing Today here on WICH.
You buy better. Better it burns. Much better. So much Agency has been promising you local service at internet prices for years. But what does that really mean? Can we really save money and still offer 24-hour claim service? Yes. Can we really offer 24-hour live quotes online but promise no voicemail? Yes. Can we really quote, issue, and service your entire account without you ever having to stop into one of our 3 convenient locations? Yes. But we welcome you to come in and meet our experienced staff. The Burns Agency is offering you the best of both worlds, local service at online prices. The Burns Agency, Norwich, Dayville, Woodstock.
Better at Burns. Much better. So much better at Burns. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better at Burns. You buy better at Burns. You buy better.
It's time again for the annual New London County 4-H Camp Auction. This year's auction will take place Friday, April 29th and Saturday, April 30th at the New London County 4-H Camp in Franklin. Doors open at 5 p.m. Friday for food and refreshments. Plant sale at 5:30 and auctions starting promptly at 6:30. Food and refreshments start at 5:30 on Saturday. Auctioneer Ernie Eldridge will be featuring new and gently used merchandise, gift cards, theme baskets, rounds of golf, ski passes, trips, and much more. All proceeds benefit the New London County 4-H Camp. Donations are still being accepted. Just call 860-889-5266. That's 889-5266. Or just bring your donation to the auction. Show your support by coming out this Friday and Saturday night to the New London County 4-H Camp Auction, Con Road, just off Route 87 in Franklin. For more information, log on to my4hcamponline.com or call 889-5266. The New London County 4-H Camp is dedicated to providing a great summer of fun for so many children in New London County and surrounding towns. New London County 4-H Camp Auction. See you there.
Howdy, partner. Help MASH, the Mystic Area Shelter and Hospitality, give family homelessness the boot by coming to our Western Gala, Home on the Range, Friday, May 6th from 6:30 to 11 at Mystic Seaport's Latitude 41 in Mystic. Your presence is wanted to help end family homelessness. Join us and rustle up some fun. Bid on live and silent auction items, too. Tickets are $125, can be purchased at massshelter.org. See you there.
Fishing Today was invited to an event last Sunday put on by Three Bells Outfitters in Niantic and the Connecticut DEEP. We took a tiger cub troop from Lyme, Connecticut fishing, not just to go fishing, but to learn as many aspects of the sport that we could put into a 5-year-old's head.
We'll see about that. So we're going to start at the very basics.
We started the day in a classroom. At the head of the class was Tom Bere, EP Senior Fisheries Biologist with the Bureau of Natural Resources, as he told the kids all about the resource itself, conservation, and just how to fish.
On a spinning rod, there was one right here. Oh yeah, the spinning rods. On the spinning rod, the reel goes underneath the rod, while on the spin casting, the reel goes up. Okay. For starting, this is the best rod to use because you don't get tangled up.
After the classroom session, we took the kids down to Grondin Pond in East Lyme, and we put everything they learned to the test.
And it took my worm.
It took your worm?
Oh
yeah? So you're waiting? What are you waiting for? Another worm?
Getting one if they're closing the bobber.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, here, we can help you with that.
I was quickly recruited to the line management team as we went around making sure all the kids were good to go, and other than a few snarls, snags, and ducking a few flying hooks, we were all having a good time, and the kids were doing a lot of it themselves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with his string is nice and tight. Do it. All right. Think this is a good worm?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's moving.
He's moving and grooving.
Go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I still made it. Okay?
It didn't hit me. It just went.
I'll get this worm on here.
Where is it? The orange one? Yeah. Mine's orange and yellow.
Luckily, it wasn't just Tom and I attending to all the Tiger Cub fishing lines. Three Bells Outfitters Hobie fishing team, led by Evan Thompson, who initiated the day's happenings, were all on hand helping out the kids. Team member Jose Negron was busy most of the day.
You want to cast it further?
Yeah, because the fish might see it.
All right, I'm getting out of the way.
Do you want us to cast for you, or you want to do it?
I can. Oh my gosh. And I got it! I'll get that for you. Oh my gosh, you're in the mud! No! My shoes are waterproof.
All right, Owen, let me see you in the fish.
Looks like a pumpkin. As Tiger Cub Owen
It's
posed
fine.
with his catch of the day, a little further down the shoreline, EP biologist Tom Bere was reminding the kids how to tie those knots, but also what happens to fishing line if you just leave it on the ground.
Now what?
Twist it around.
Okay, you can do two different things. You could twist the line around, or you could take the hook and twist and turn it. Okay, so either way will work. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what?
Put it through the top.
Yep, put it through the loop you made right next to the eye, pretty close to the eyelet. You take that line and you put it in your pocket or in your tackle box. If you let monofilament line go in nature, what happens to it? Birds make nest out of it. Birds make a nest, and how long does monofilament last? Not 10 years, not 100 years. How many years? 600 years. This stuff will last in nature for 600 years. During all that time, animals could get tangled up in it.
In between dodging casts, untangling rods, and picking up balls of string, we took the time to talk with Tom Bere, EP biologist, a little bit about the C.A.R.E. program and what it means to our fishery and to the children. Fishing today on WICH, I'm here with Tom Bere. He's a fish biologist with the Department of Environmental Protection here in Connecticut with the C.A.R.E. program. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us here. A great day.
Yeah.
We are live, recorded live out here on Grondin Pond, and we're taking a bunch of Cub Scouts fishing. And how does this C.A.R.E. program work?
So what happens is people come to us with a desire to teach other people how to fish, grow the sport, stuff like that. We put them through, they fill out an application, we put them through a police background check. Once they're through that, we invite them to a training, which is a one-day training. We go over all the aspects of fishing and how to teach fishing. And then they go back to their Parks and Rec departments, or in this case, Cub Scout group, and teach people how to fish. So we have a curriculum that's 2 hours in the classroom, and then however long we can keep their attention out on the water.
And not only does this benefit the kids, but this also benefits local DEEP. And how does that work?
So it's a really good feel-good program. There's no bad press when it comes to taking kids fishing. So we're always on the good side of the news. So what we're trying to do is get kids into the sport. We've even convinced the legislature to make the fishing license fee half price for 16 and 17-year-olds. You have to start paying for a license when you're 16. So we figured 16 and 17-year-olds, they deserve a break to get into the sport. We also have a youth fishing pass where any kid could sign up for that, and they get a license kind of just like what their parents would get. And then there's a whole bunch of different challenges in the youth fishing passport program. Geocaching. Catching.
Oh, yeah.
So you go to different ponds and you catch different fish, and then there's also other things where you go and you try to catch different species of fish in different places. Everything's positive. The state of Connecticut we don't use any state taxpayer dollars, so that's always that's a real good selling point for a program like this.
And then there's also a way that money comes from the federal government that goes to local DEEP. And how does that work?
So with Sport Fish Restoration Funds, there's a fee that's put on fishing tackle, boats, outboard motors, import fees from China. We buy all these rods are probably made in China. So there's a little surtax put on those import fees.
One more bobber.
You need a bobber?
Yeah.
And
My thing broke.
what happens is the the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service gets that pot of money, and then it's divvied up among the states depending on how many licenses they sell and things like that. And then to do any of our fisheries management programs, fish restoration programs, the feds put up 75% of the money, and the state of Connecticut has to put up 25%. In the case of the C.A.R.E program, it's really unique where we use the hours that our volunteers put in for the state match, and so we use 100% federal funds for our education program. So hey, another fish.
All right, yellow perch.
A perch. Good job. So it's really good. Nice. This is our 30th year, and we're up to 731 volunteers that have been certified. Plus, thank you very much. Their teaching teams. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Grondin Dental Group is dedicated to exceptional dental care. Its founder, Dr. Dennis Flanagan, implant specialist, Dr. Bruce Doherty, and Dr. Danielle Green, who is experienced with special needs patients, particularly those in the autism spectrum. Grondin Dental has a professional team of dental hygienists who aspire to promote lifelong oral health. Rely on this team for painless cleanings, tooth whitening, scaling procedures, dental implants, crowns, veneers, and even root canal treatment. No need for multiple specialists from other practices. Grondin Dental Group has their own on-site dental laboratory. That's why so much can be accomplished efficiently in fewer appointments. The Grondin Dental team takes care of everything and really gets to know their patients. They offer C.A.R.E credit, providing affordable interest-free payment plans. Visit them at grondindental.com. From routine checkups to sophisticated restorative care, Grondin Dental Group takes care of your family's complete dental health. Exceptional dentistry for extraordinary smiles. Grondin Dental Group, Route 1 in Grondin.
Thanks for listening. Join us every Saturday at 8:30 for Fishing Today on your #1 local connection, 1310 WICH.
We're already out of time for fishing. Not enough time to fish on the radio these days, but we'll have the full interview up on the Facebook page and site, and we'll also have the podcast available pretty soon. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week, 8:30 a.m. Thank you, Rick Joseph, on the other side of the glass, and thank you for listening. Have a great week, everyone. Tight lines.